Wakes hooker Scott Baldwin says he's lucky to still have both hands after being bitten by a lion. The Ospreys player shared the graphic result of the bite he suffered when petting the big beast at a South African game park last month. The bite was caught on camera as Baldwin stroked the giant cat through a fence. And Baldwin, who returned to action with Ospreys at the weekend, has now lifted the lid on what was like when the king of the jungle clasped his jaws around him. The 29-year-old said, "When you see the video it looks very quick, but for me it felt like a lifetime. It felt as though I was staring into its soul. They told me I could lose my hand, I had to have 4 operations and I missed 3 matches with the Ospreys. And it was all self-inflicted. I had 2 operations in South Africa, flew home with an 4 drip in my arm and then had another 2 at home. At one stage I was told I would need plastic surgery and could lose my left hand. I think it only hit me how lucky I was when I was in bed the other night. When someone says you can lose your hand, instantly your career is gone. I'm a new father, so it made me think about all the things I might not have been able to do with my son and how I might not have been able to earn a living without my dominant hand. All those things went through my head. That really put things into perspective for me and made me realize how very lucky I was." Baldwin has always loved lions and wild animals and had earlier spent an hour playing with some lion cubs. Then he got the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get up close and personal with some adult lions. "I petted the female one, with no issues, and when the male sat down I stroked him on his head. Then, silly me, I turned round to give one of the boys my phone to take a picture and, being the king of the jungle, he took his bite," recalled Baldwin. The injury suffered by Baldwin after he was bitten is positively gruesome. Baldwin showed the state of his wound, in its original state and closed by stitches, after 4 operations. 3 games missed, 4 ops later and not the result we wanted yesterday, but good to be back out with the boys. Live and learn. Lucky escape, he said on social media after his club side were beaten 19-18 by Scarlets in Saturday's Guinness Pro 14 match. Scott has apologized to Ospreys fans after the incident at the Bloemfontein Zoo. One of the lions turned its head and clamps its jaws around his arm before sinking his teeth in. The men begin to scream and run backwards before sighing with relief when Baldwin manages to break free. A member of staff tells the player to go and get first aid while the man behind the camera begins to nervously laugh. Baldwin was in South Africa for their Pro 14 game against the Cheetahs, who won 44-25. Scott, 29, was taken to hospital to receive stitches and treatment against infection. Coach Steve Tandy had no sympathy for his player, suggesting Baldwin had ignored instruction and attempted to pet the animal. "There was an incident with a lion, but in fairness it was nothing to do with the lion," he said in a press conference. "He did bite Scott, but when you put your hand in a fence where there is a lion, then you will get bitten. It was pretty stupid on Scott's behalf and he is pretty lucky. It was a good environment and we were told how far back to stand. I don't know what sort of wildlife show Scott has been watching where you can pat a lion on the head as if it's a kitten." Baldwin then apologized to fans on Twitter. "Sorry all Ospreys fans for letting you and the team down by missing the game through the bite," he said. "Should have known he wouldn't be impressed with me stroking his lioness before introducing myself to him first. My bad. And for those asking, my hand in on the mend thankfully and should be up and running round soon enough. Thanks for your support and concern."